30.
Good evening, everyone. Our top story tonight, the largest newspaper merger in history has failed to stop the flow of red ink at the Detroit News and the Detroit Free Press. As a result, the price of both papers is going up. As Channel 7's Bill Proctor reports, after just 1 year, the joint operating agreement is making new headlines, but not all the news is good.
The newsrooms of the two papers must be subsidized by their parent companies to survive, but other production costs are covered by earnings, and the key goal of the JOA has been met, according to the president and CEO of the Detroit Newspaper Agency.
To maintain two strong editorial voices in the Detroit metropolitan area. Clearly, there was a possibility that that would have been different today if the JOA had not been in its place.
For instance, without the joint operating agreement, the loss of jobs would have been higher than the 500 lost under the JOA. It's down from 4,100 to 3,600 jobs. And the JOA's financial picture would have been better now, says Ungaro, were it not for higher fuel and paper costs and startup problems with advertising, circulation, and service.
I don't buy that. I think there was a lot of mismanagement in the creation of this JOA, and the public is seeing for themselves what a mediocre product they're getting from the two corporations, that they're being charged more and receiving less, and it's put them off.
Mileshko maintains that the JOA should not exist, that the papers could have survived separately with higher daily prices and better management. An uncertain economy won't allow Ungaro to predict the future of the papers, but Mileshko is not optimistic.
Our fear is that they're just going to drive away more customers, and instead of encouraging them with the overall advantage they're given legally over anyone else.
They may not agree on the reasons for it, but it appears that higher prices will be a part of the near future of Detroit's two daily newspapers. Bill Proctor, Channel 7 Action News, reporting.
No date has been set, but the prices may be raised right after the first of the year, although officials are not saying how much the increase will be. Mike?
An explosion near Gaylord, Michigan tonight has left one person dead. Firefighters from several communities battled a blaze at an oil pit in Bagley Township. A worker at the site was killed in that blast. The fire was near natural gas wells and threatened to spread, but it was contained within a couple of hours. Firefighters are still on the scene looking for a cause and making sure no new fires begin. Security is tight tonight at a local horse track, which has been plagued by a rash of suspected arson fires. Channel 7's John Kleekamp is following the story and joins us now with the very latest. John, what do you have?
Well, Mike, there have been 5 suspicious fires at Hazel Park Raceway in the past 16 days. The latest blazes occurred last night, just 3 hours apart.
It seems like there's someone going around torching things around here.
Last night, 3 dumpsters at Hazel Park Raceway were apparently set ablaze. And soon after police and firefighters left the scene, another fire broke out in a nearby barn, destroying 2 tack rooms. Any idea why anybody would be setting these fires?
I have no idea. We had a good meet. Everything, it's hopefully just some kids that are going around having a little fun with us in the fire department, and they'll catch them soon.
Patrols of the premises are being stepped up tonight in hopes of preventing any further fires. On Wednesday, another dumpster and a pickup truck were torched. And on November 6th, a concession stand burned, causing some $250,000 in damages. In June of 1987, in the middle of the racing season, a major blaze destroyed a barn at the park. 12 horses perished in the flames. The investigation was inconclusive, but authorities don't believe there's any connection between that fire and this latest rash of blazes. With the exception of the concession stand fire, the blazes have all been small, but the fear is someone will be hurt trying to put these fires out. Mike?
You know, we were talking about this. I know this is the off-season, but do they have electrical power? Is it possible we're talking about an electrical fire?
There is power to all the buildings, or even in the off-season, but they really do not suspect that this is an electrical fire. They do believe that these are intentionally set by somebody.
And no reason why, huh?
At this point, no.
All right, thank you, John. A disturbing story tonight out of Lincoln Park. A 13-year-old blind and mentally retarded boy raped in his own home. There have been other reports of child abuse in the White Street home, but until now, the Department of Social Services had allowed the children to remain with their mother, Sandra Katz. Now, local officials say they were working with her, trying to keep the family together. But neighbors are telling Action News the children were suffering, often going without clothing and food.
little one, little Raymond, he used to come over. We had the twins on the porch, and he'd steal their food and steal their sippy cups and drink everything that they had.
I hate to say, I'm glad to see the kids are gone. And I hope she don't ever get them back. I really don't. It's not fair to the kids. The house is a disgusting mess.
Would you like to
No, I would not.
talk about it or anything?
No, I don't. Until I talk to my attorney.
Some Lincoln Park police blame the DSS for not removing the children sooner. Action News tried several times, but was unable to reach the DSS for a comment. Frank?
It's that time of year again, time for those who can to help the less fortunate. As always, you can join the efforts of Operation Can Do, a project to get badly needed food to hungry people. For the 12th year, Channel 7 is joining Elias Brothers Big Boy Restaurants and the Hunger Action Coalition to collect tons of canned food for the hungry. And for the 3rd year, we are joined by thousands of local Boy Scouts with tremendous results. So far, the 4-day-old project has collected more than 170 tons of food, more than the total for last year's entire effort. And this year, the need is greater.
We're also finding that the people that we're asking to help are stepping up to that need. And so we're collecting more and more food every year.
This year, we had a family that we helped last year donate enough food to feed another family this year.
For many, it's a case of one good turn deserving another, but Scouts like little David Young do it
because it's fun.
You can participate by bringing donations to Elias Brothers Big Boy Restaurants or right here to Channel 7. Operation Can Do runs through December 31st.
Well, it looked like an ordinary baseball bat, but it was actually a terrorist's secret weapon. We'll have details.
Plus, U.S. troops are gearing up for a dress rehearsal invasion of Kuwait.
He may be small, but Hollywood is banking on him to become one of its biggest stars.
I'm Dave Llewellyn. It's been a great day for the locals. The Wolverines, Spartans, Pistons, and yes, the Red Wings, all winners. And would you believe 11 touchdown passes in one college football game? It happened, and I'll show it to you when Action News returns.
Most videos shot with today's small camcorders come out looking shaky like this. But now, with a push of a button, they come out steady like this. Panasonic introduces the Palmcorder, the compact camcorder with the digital image stabilizer.
I don't believe this, Brian. You're lifting it.
It's small and lightweight, so it fits in the palm of your hand. Yet the Palmcorder uses videotapes that can play in any VHS recorder.
Brian!
The Palmcorder from Panasonic, just slightly ahead of our time.
I'm Richard Golden, president of DOC. Most optical companies put only outdated, selected merchandise on sale, but not DOC. Right now, we're offering our most popular, best-selling eyeglass frames for half off. I mean current, trend-setting styles, not the discards, but DOC's best sellers, all half off. You can wear your glasses for 30 days, and if you're not satisfied, we'll make them right, or you'll get your money back. You have my word on it.
A car with headlights that won't burn out. There are people in GE Lighting who have some ideas that could help you construct one. Pick our brains. A quick change truck? There are people in GE Plastics who have an idea for a new and much faster way to build all kinds of different trucks on the same chassis. Pick our brains. If you're a car maker or supplier, talk to us, GE Automotive.
1990, a record-setting year at Mazda. The Miata, the new Navajo. Thousands of new owners feeling just right. It's your turn now. You can save with factory-to-dealer incentives. Save with special options packages. Save up to $25.75. Mazda, there's no stopping us now. With deals like these, there's no stopping you.
At Seaway Mazda, Ann Arbor Mazda, Fisher Mazda, and Metro Mazda now.
In the Middle East tonight, a sort of dress rehearsal for war. U.S. and Saudi troops are gearing up for 6 days of military maneuvers dubbed Imminent Thunder. Military top brass are calling the exercise a mock invasion of Kuwait. No live ammunition will be used, but the largest force of warplanes yet will take to the skies. Imminent Thunder starts tomorrow. Secretary of State Baker is lobbying members of the 15-nation Security Council just in case. Baker is looking for support of the UN resolution backing military force against Iraq if a peaceful solution fails. He'll be in Paris tomorrow to lobby 5 nations, including the Soviet Union. And with the Middle East on his mind, President Bush was in Czechoslovakia to celebrate that nation's first Independence Day. His thoughts.
It is no coincidence that appeasement's lonely victim half a century ago should be among the first to understand that there is right and there is wrong, there is good and there is evil, and there are sacrifices worth making.
Here at home, 3 Army National Guard units from Detroit, Grayling, and Greenville, Michigan may be tapped for active duty in the Middle East. They report to their armories tomorrow. Frank?
A bomb hidden in a softball bat exploded today during a game between the United States and Chile. 1 person was killed, 2 others were hurt, including a U.S. Embassy official. The game was played in Santiago, Chile, but so far no one has claimed responsibility for the attack. The bat was stuffed with 400 grams of dynamite. Boy, I tell you, everybody wins.
Yeah,
everybody
great day.
wins.
Like it. And we'll start with the Pistons, too, who overcame a bad third period and beat the Atlanta Hawks at the Palace 91-83. And as is usually the case, they did it with defense. I say did it with defense, and then the first thing I show you is something you'd never expect. Dennis Rodman with a 3-pointer. Yep, count it. Pistons 45-40 at the half. That wasn't the only crazy shot you'll see. Nothing unusual about this Joe Dumars effort, though. The reverse layup, he had 18. Time running down. Third quarter, and Sidney Moncrief will let one fly, top of the key, 3-pointer. It hits the iron, goes up, and drops. Hawks led 69-64 after 3. Hawks managed only 1 basket the final 9 minutes. John Sally, one of the reasons why. The block back the other way. They went with it to Bill Lambier. He'll turn, score on the tippy-toe jumper. Pistons had forged back in front. Mark McGuire, 20 points off the bench to lead the Pistons. And watch this one. He'll launch it, and it hits the rim and goes round and round and round and finally drops. Pistons win their 3rd straight, 91-83. On the board, Charlotte a winner, Orlando a winner, Boston over Washington, Houston a winner. New York beat Philly, San Antonio over Phoenix. Well, it's been a long time coming. The Red Wings' last win on the road came last season, back on March 17th. It took them 11 games this season. The breakthrough finally coming tonight at Toronto. And Steve Yzerman scored the pure hat trick in the first period. 3 goals in the first 12 minutes. This is the first coming up against Jeff Reese, right in front, buries it. Yzerman enjoyed a 5-point night. His 3rd goal of the period came after a nice drop pass from Randy McKay right there. Yzerman with a big night. Bobby Dallas scored his 1st goal as a Red Wing. The assist from who else? Yzerman, who's on the ice, gets it to Dallas. Perfect placement with a backhand. Sergei Fedorov also a couple of goals. 8-4, the Wings over Toronto. On the board, Chicago a big winner over Quebec. Minnesota falling to St. Louis. Montreal and Boston skated to a tie. Hartford over Washington, Buffalo and Calgary tied. New Jersey beat Philly this afternoon by a score of 3-2. Well, Michigan beat Minnesota today to keep its hold on the Little Brown Jug, but the Wolverines lost safety Trip Wellborn with a knee injury in their 35-18 victory over the Gophers. He'll likely miss the Ohio State game. The full extent of his injury still to be determined. Now, trailing 10-7 at the half, Elvis Gerbach hit Jared Bunch in the flat, and the senior playing his final game at Michigan took it over. Wolverines ahead for good. Gerbach, in fact, had 3 touchdown passes on the day. This is the 3rd to Derek Alexander in the corner of the end zone, 21-10 Michigan. Freshman Ricky Powers, John Vaughn capped the scoring with touchdown runs. This is Powers from 5 yards out. And we'll finish with a Martin Davis sack of Steve Schaffner, the Minnesota quarterback. Wolverines keep that brown jug in Ann Arbor for another year, 35-18. Michigan State, meantime, survived a scare at Northwestern. Ira Adler kicked 3 first-half field goals, and the Wildcats led 9-7 at intermission. The only MSU first-half touchdown, this 3-yard Dan Enos to Dwayne Young pass. The Spartans scored 3 times in the second half. Highland Hickson, 184 yards. MSU won at 29-22. On the Big Ten board, Iowa a winner, 1 more win win for the Rose Bowl for the Hawkeyes. Ohio State over Wisconsin, and Illinois defeated Indiana. Well, Penn State rallied in the second half to defeat Notre Dame at South Bend today. An exciting finish to this one. The Irish jumped out to a 21-7 lead. Ricky Waters threw the Penn State line. He'll go 22 yards for the touchdown. Things looking pretty good for Notre Dame. But midway through the fourth quarter, Tony Sacca hit Al Golden going back the other way. 14 yards, he got it over for the tying touchdown. Then Rick Meyer would turn the ball over. The Irish quarterback intercepted by Darren Perry, giving Penn State the chance to pull off the upset. And the Lions would do just that. Freshman Craig Fayak kicked this 34-yard field goal with 4 seconds remaining, giving Joe Paterno's team a 24-21 victory, toppling the Irish from the top of the polls. USC and UCLA played a wild one at the